Good morning, my esteemed followers. We shall be continuing with our series on data analytics and business intelligence. Today, our focus will be on data modeling and ETL, which is extracting, transforming, and loading. So sit back and enjoy the tutorial. So as we can see on the screen, we have steps to follow or a series of activities. The first on it, we need to download AdventureWorks database, which Microsoft has already populated with some data. But we do the analysis, restore that database. Then, based on the business need, a simple business need like sales by territory, the end user of your business analysis or business intelligence application is requesting that they want to see various sales across territory. They want to know which territory is doing well and others. So, based on that request, there are some entities that must be brought into the solution for you to see that. So, that is where the data modeling comes in. We are going to look at those tables. Then we look at the creating a vote or staging. There is need for us to create a vote or staging because transactional database is volatile. You cannot make your business intelligence reporting to depend on it. So we want to move it from that very volatile environment to a stable environment that at the end of the day, maybe once a day or twice, that's when you will be pulling from the online transactional database, real-time transactional database to that very staging. From there, we can plan our data warehouse successfully. Then we're going to create an SSI package. We run ETL and see how data is being moved from the source to destination. Then we have a simple architectural flow that we need to follow. From the downloaded AdventureWorks database, which is online transactional processing, which is very volatile, like I said, we are going to run an ETL, a package on ETL that will move them to staging. From staging, we equally create a package, SSI package, that will move those items from staging to a data warehouse. And at that data warehouse level, we have to come up with dimension and facts. So from between online transaction and that staging, we are definitely moving the table directly. Something we might have little or nothing to do with transformation. But when we are now coming to data warehouse to get the dimension and the facts that we actually need, there will be an adjustment. Some feeds will change, some will be derived, and others. Then it is from that data warehouse, the reporting will now be loading its data. So, as seen on the screen too, dimension is simply a business entity which has attributes as well. For instance, DIM, sales territory. The sales territory is telling you what the sales territory we are looking at. What is the name? What is the ID? All of them are what we are going to be discussing. We have some others again outside the sales territory. You want to know the amount of an item. You want to know the staff that sells it, which customer that purchased it. So all this will form a dimension. And all of them will definitely have a key value, which is going to be a foreign in the fact table. So reporting is using the dimension and the facts to reflect the exact thing that is being required. So let's go straight to download the database and then move on from there. So let's paste the URL and see where exactly we will be downloading the database from. So here we are. You can see AdventureWorks sample database. So we can come here. This is the online transaction processing one. This is already data warehouse. They have refined this. So let's pick this 2019, download, and restore from our backup location. So it's downloading. As you can see from here. After the downloading, we can now restore. At this point, I'm assuming you have a running Microsoft SQL database 2019, 2020, or 2022, as the case may be. So let's watch out. So it has downloaded. Let me copy it from here and take to a location, a backup location of the database. Let's look at the location of the database. I want to load it from the backup location. Okay. If I paste this, okay, Control V, okay, take it to backup. So let me copy it and quickly take there. Adventure World 2019. All right. Okay. Paste. All right. So let's quickly restore it from the database. Can click database and click on restore. It's from a device. Let's check location. It says it. Let's pick 2019. Okay. All right. It's installed successfully. So when you look at the various tables in it, you can see address. You can see somebody's address, entity, and all of them. You can see product, the product that you want to sell. You can see order. You can see purchase order heading. You can see the currency, the customer. So it says reason and all of them. So we shall be selecting some of the tables here to migrate, the table and the feed that we are going to be migrating. So I have already put one or two things down for the data modeling based on this table and the requirement to avoid wasting our time. So if you can see the screen, this the dimension that you are seeing here, the dimension currency, the customer, the date, employee, product, whatever I put here, we might not need reseller at this point. The fact table. So these are what we are going to be looking at. So when you talk of data modeling, you are trying to analyze and say, okay, based on the client requirement, which in our case, we are talking of sales by territory, sales analysis. They want to see the sales by territory, maybe by a period of time as well across these territories. Some others will still come in. They might want to see the stuff that says the highest, the location. So all these things we need to analyze carefully to say, okay, this for us to get that output, for our end user to get that report, what are the feeds that are required? That is exactly what we mean by this data modeling. You from there cross-check the missing items. If they are not there, you ask the database administrators, ask the software developers how they worked on their applications, the structure of the database. They will explain to you, and from there you can form your data modeling sheet. So what we can see here, you can see we said just now we want to create a staging environment. We want to create a staging environment where we'll move data from that transactional database to. So we have the currency. We need to know the currency with which those items were purchased. Is it in pounds? Is it in dollars? Is it in naira? And the rest. So we need to know. So it's very important. So for customer too, and where are we getting this table from? For currency, we are going to, the currency key is going to be a derived class, because a derived feed, because it won't be there from the beginning. But currency, if you look at the currency that comes with this, where's currency here? If you look at currency, it's my currency. It's my currency. If you look at this currency here, it's already having some items. It needs some feeds. Okay. Okay. Let me says currency. I need to see why it did not run. Okay. I guess I just needed to log out from the database and log in. Okay. Now we're trying to talk of the currency. Currency is a table here. This is exactly what you are seeing. It has a code. It has a name. So in our data modeling, we are interested in these names. What are the code? What are the names? So that during our report, we can know the denomination and what currency was actually the item was purchased in. So when you look at this table, we are moving this currency code, currency name from the adventure table to the source table we are going to be creating, the staging. So these feeds are required for us to get the currency type. For a customer too, if you look at the adventure database, we will have a persons, we have when we have title, we have names, just the same way. If you look at this place, you have a where is person, you have persons dot okay, you can see address, persons dot address, contact info, password, phone number, all these entities, you have their various feeds. So after careful analysis, we will know exactly what is required. So if we a careful look at this table here brought us, you have product, for instance. All these things are carefully analyzed so that at the end of the day, we will have a report that will meet the customer's expectation. So you can see this person. From here, you can see a person has a title. Has a title, has first name, last name. So whether you're a customer, you're an employee, you are a type of person. So you are going to definitely inherit from here. That is the way this database was being structured. So if we should have a customer. You can see customer here. Customer, you have employee. You have employee, you have customers. All of them, they inherit from this. So we, after careful analysis of the database, I came up with what you are seeing here. So all this feed for a customer, I need all these feeds. So at the end of the day, I will create a customer table in my source database, in my staging database, which has we're going to have a schema of this. Then when we're now moving to dimension, these are the feeds that will now be reflecting the dimension. If you are saying dimension customer, we are going to be looking at a key, a generated key, surrogate key. Then we have the customer ID based on what we're having on the staging table. So that is how we carefully, this is what we are talking about in data modeling. We have employee. Like I said before, employee is a type of person. So employee ID, we're going to derive it. They have employee has a national ID which identify them. So we are going to get all these feed you are seeing from the adventure works. We will move them to the staging database table for employee. Then when we are now forming the dim employee, we are now going to have some transformation. Those things that will not change will remain the same. But we are going to be moving from this source table, which is the staging, to the dimension. The same way with product, we have a product table from this adventure works. So we are going to be moving them straight to our staging. So from there, we create a dimension. So the summary of this is that because this is very, very transactional, it changes every time. We first try to move it to a staging table. From staging table, we now define a dimension in data warehouse. where all these things will come to play. So without wasting much of our time, I will be sharing this with you at the end of this session. So let me look at exactly, we will start with one, maybe the currency. So let's look at what we need to do to bring it to the real practical, to have the real practical experience. So we shall start by quickly creating let's create a database. Let's create a database. So let's create a database for the staging where we need to have those tables migrated to through ETL. Okay. All right. We'll create a schema under that table staging. Let's put that staging 2019. It's my staging DB 2019. We create a schema under it so that the tables they'll be having source dot. That's exactly what we want to achieve. So the next is to create a let's see what we have here is to create SSIS package. We have created default. Let's create SSIS package for currency and take it off from there. So this is exactly where we stopped the last time. We're trying to create customer. Today, let's start with this. We're going to create a new SSIS package. Let's call it, okay, is it? Let's rename it. Let's call it currency. Let's call it currency. Yes, I'm right there. All right. Yes to all. Let's click yes to all. All right, this currency. So we've created that. What we need to do, we go to the SSI toolbox. Come here. Let's pick the data flow. Okay, let's rename this data flow. Let's rename it to data flow task. Source, let's say source load currency. All right. So let's double click it where we can add our source and the destination data to it. So we need to add from a source. We are dealing with only DB. We are dealing with Microsoft SQL Server object. Let's move there. Okay. Here's the source. Let's move this up. The destination. Still dealing with only DB destination object. Okay. We link the two together. Let's equally rename this to only DB, only DB, only DB, only DB. Let's name this source. Source. Let's load. Say source load currency, so that if any user is picking it, they will understand. This is let's load this one through this only DB. This only DB is destination. Okay. This destination source load the source currency. Source currency. Okay. So next, we try to create a connection manager. So let's create a connection manager. Let's right click here. Only DB connection. Let's pick one. So I'm dealing with localhost. Let me put just dot. Let me use SQL authentication for SA. one. Okay, let me pick. Okay, you can see my database. This is our source. This is where we're going to be moving data from. Okay, I think we're going to be moving data from. Okay, it's okay. I'll move on. So our source data connection is here. Let's equally do for the, let's create a connection again for destination where we're going to be moving it to. Because sometimes it might not be in the same server. Okay, let me see if it will display my database. What is the staging? We are interested in staging 2019. So another reason why we use staging or vote is to be very sure that if, for instance, the sources could be from different environments, could be from TST, could be from Excel, could be from Oracle and the rest. So you make sure you move them, irrespective of where they are, to that staging environment, which is now centralized. So apart from the volatility of transactional table or database, this is another major reason why it is being done. So let's try to map this to the table where it's going to be taken from. So you double click it. This is the connection. No, it's not staging. We are looking at host staging DB 2019. No, this is not the destination. We're going to take one from okay, it's the adventure we're interested in. This is going to be the source. This is where I'm going to pull it from. So which table for currency? I have a dim. Okay, in that inside adventure, we have a currency table. Where is my currency table? Okay, says currency. Done. Yeah. So we're interested in this table, says currency. So that is exactly what we'll be picking under adventure works. That's where we want to move data from. Where's my sales currency? Sorry. Where's my sales currency? Sales currency table. This is where we're going to be moving from. Okay. All right. These are the feeds that are inside. All right. So we now equally need to look at when we move from there, we are not doing any transformation. We want it to come straight to the staging database table currency. So let's see how that is done as well. All right, for the source, let's double click. Okay, as you can see, the connection string will be different. But at this point, you know the source, we don't have table. Where's my staging? Where's my staging? Staging 2019. Where's my staging 2019? Refresh. Where's my staging 2019? Okay, this staging, we don't have any table yet. So if we need to create tables before we move into it. So let's take advantage of what we are having from the source. In doing that, you need to select table or view. We create this, as you can see here. We have a where we can create. Let's take this to the management studio where we can create it. Let's pick the staging environment where we are taking it to, staging 2019. It's my staging 2019, adventure 2019. It's my staging. Okay, staging DB 2019. I want to create this. Don't forget we created schema before. So the essence of it is for us to identify where the tables are coming from and the rest. So this is going to be source.currency. 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 This is how this table will be. It's a replica of what is coming from the end. Okay, all right, this is done. The next thing is let's come here to pick the table, and let's pick the table. Let's pick the table and the database. So let's check the connection again. Okay, this connection that is facing our destination. This is the only table there right now. We pick the table. Let's check the mapping. You can see from source to this is the input, this is the destination. So everything is correct. We don't need any other work here. So we submit, okay, which means it can now move from here. So let's see. We are going to run it and see exactly what we'll get at the end of the day. But before then, let's refresh the database and see if we have anything in it. There's my staging. Where's my staging? Okay. All right. We probably will have one table there now. Okay. It's in source.currency. If we move here, all right, nothing inside. Then when we run, if we run we execute, let's save. If we execute, we are going to have a data inside it. So just hold on. Let's look at the next stage. So we have to run it, and this is the typical of ETL: extract, load, and transform. Like I said, we are not transforming anything right now. So if I come here to the package and say execute, we see what will happen. All right, it has so it has executed successfully. This is what we'll see. So let's check the table that we checked initially that was not having anything. So you can see that it has moved. This 105 detail, it has moved what we had in Adventure Works. Adventure was 2019. Adventure Works 2019. What we had for SIS, okay, a SIS currency. SIS currency. We have SIS currency has successfully been moved. Okay, you can see it's 105 from SIS currency. You can see SIS currency. It has been moved to the destination source.currency. So this is exactly how ETL is being done. So for the remaining one on this data modeling, we have succeeded in moving this to staging. As we move on, we will see how we can actually move it to a dimension table, which will eventually be used in the reporting. But we need to finish all the movement of the source tables before we go to dimension. That will make it easier. So I will continue with the rest. When next we see, I'm going to share what has been done. But for anyone that needs transformation, I need to go through it here so that you will know how it's been done. But one other thing I need to quickly touch here is the use of the word truncate. If you see this right now, if definitely when you are done, you use a scheduler to run it. Task scheduler is what we're going to be using in running it when you deploy. But you discover that this item here, each time you want to move from the transactional database or table to this place, it will duplicate. We don't want that. So we have to truncate. We have to truncate so that for those tables that are not fully transactional, that are not much, we need to truncate so that each time you are coming, delete what is there and replace at this source. So we can equally use at the end of the day, if the database or the table is big, we will not be using this. We have some measure and some split task that will be used so that if it's up to 6 million, 5 million, for instance, you don't expect it to be cut off. So I will just quickly show how we can use that, the truncate, and move on. So let me stop it from the execution. I stop it here. So if I execute it again, we saw the data just now. We are having 105. If I execute it again, it's going to duplicate. Let me go for my execution again. Execute, let's see. Okay, it's done. Let's check the output again. You can see it's now 210. So if you select distinct now, it's a replication, which it has duplicated, which is not what is required at all. So we need to truncate this table as we reload to avoid the data inconsistency. So to do this manually, we have to say truncate this table. But you and I, you will agree with me, when you deploy a solution, you will not have that time. In short, you will not be there when the scheduler will be running. So you can't come there and be running this truncate manually. So we have to automate this as well. So I just run it. If I check again, I'm going to see that 105 data. That's exactly what you're saying. So how do we apply this truncate here? So let's stop it quickly. Let's go to the task flow. Okay. we- Okay. Let's move up. The task flow. Have this execute task. Okay. All right. This said the execute task. This is where we put the statement directly. So for the execute task, we have to put exactly what we require it to do. So at this place, you can look at connection type. It's still DB. Let's choose our connection. We need to be careful here so that we won't choose the wrong connection. Because if you do it to the source, which is the transactional database, you will lose a lot. So let's put the statement here, just the same way we have it manually here. Truncate table. So even if we run it 20 times, nothing will change. It will remain that same 105. Put it here, and the truncate table. Okay. So let's save. Let's try to run again. If I execute, okay, it's successful. Let's check the table whether there's duplicate this time. No duplicate. So even if I stop it again, I run again, execute, we will still get the same output, same 105. So this is how we can transform load data from source to destination. So like I said, other things that will be added, the ones I can close out, I will close out. Others that I believe we need to see together that involves transformation, we will do it together here before we move to dimension and a fact. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, once again for your time with me today. And I believe you are blessed. So as a source of encouragement to me, like my post, make positive comment, and subscribe. Refer to friends. Our career will get better at the end of the day. Thank you once again. I appreciate. We'll see you next time.